We welcome you into the Moss Arts Center in Blacksburg, Virginia for another edition of the 3304 Sports First Pitch Show. I'm your host, Braden Shank, joined alongside our all-star team of panelists, Tucker Terry and Phoebe Winters. And guys, it's crazy to believe it's April and spring sports are starting to wind down.
No, honestly, this spring semester has really flown by. It seems like just yesterday we were at that media meeting the team as they talked about their hopes for the coming season, and now we're almost at the end of that season.
I was going to say March Madness, it feels like it just ended, but here we are. Postseason ball is approaching in baseball and softball, and the spring sports season has really flown by.
Virginia Tech baseball is where we'll start today. The Hokies are riding in 24-10 on the season, 11-7 in the ACC play. But Tucker, Virginia Tech welcomes in a very tough Duke Blue Devils team in for a 3-game set this weekend.
They do. Duke is ranked 7th in the country, and Virginia Tech has been struggling recently. They've lost 6 of their last 10, and they've fallen to 23rd in the country. But there's no better chance for them to recover and go into the postseason with a lot of momentum than a 3-game home stretch against the Duke Blue Devils.
And Phoebe, the last time Virginia Tech had a home stretch at home was against Wake Forest, another nationally ranked team, the 21st Demon Deacons. Virginia Tech struggled in that home series, but they get their chance again playing at home. What are some keys to success for Virginia Tech this weekend?
I mean, yeah, I think as we saw in that Wake Forest series and also in Georgia Tech, is that the Hokies really struggle when they have to come back from a score deficit. When they're coming from behind, they just really struggle to get bats on ball and get players on base. So I think what's going to be really important is, as we've seen in the past couple weeks, they've been really playing around with that lineup, making a lot of changes. But after talking with Coach Sheff after that Radford game, he said that they're going to continue to make those changes offensively, really trying to match up better with Duke than they did with Georgia Tech. And he's really liking having Christian Martin and Ben Watson, who have been the most effective hitters this season. Having them at the top of the lineup has been really key to their success against Bradford and getting just bats on ball.
And that's the thing. This is such a deep ACC conference. You really can't take any game for granted, so it's going to be interesting for sure how Virginia Tech matches up against Duke. Now, we're going to shift things on over to our very own Sophie Tarabola, who's standing by in the studio with more on the Hokies' win over Radford earlier this week.
Number 23, Virginia Tech baseball showcased its prowess on both offense and defense as they dominated Radford 7-1 in a commanding performance at English Field at Atlantic Union Bank Park on Tuesday night. Led by 6-year outfielder Chris Cannizzaro, who went 3 for 4 with a double and a 2-run homer, the Hokies demonstrated their offensive firepower. Cannizzaro's 3 RBIs, including his 8th home run of the season, propelled Virginia Tech to victory. The Hokies, 24-10, seized control early, taking a 3-0 lead after 3 innings and extending it to 6-0 by the end of the 5th inning. Despite Radford's late surge with a solo home run in the 9th, Virginia Tech's pitching staff held strong with a dominant outing from Brady Kurtner, who improved to 5-0, with 6 pitchers combining for 10 strikeouts and limiting Radford to just 4 hits. Right-hand reliever Grant Manning played a pivotal role, blanking the Highlanders during the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings while recording 3 strikeouts. Offensively, Virginia Tech capitalized on scoring opportunities, loading the bases in the 1st inning and manufacturing runs through strategic hitting and aggressive base running. The victory marked Virginia Tech's 12th win in their last 14 meetings against Radford, showcasing their dominance in head-to-head matchups. With the win, Virginia Tech continues to solidify its position as a force to be reckoned with in collegiate baseball, showcasing their talent and determination as they march forward in the season.
Thanks, Sophie. Great report as always. We're now going to flip to the other diamond on campus, and that's the softball diamond. Head coach Pete Demore has a surging Hokies team at TSP, and they enter in a 3-game set against Georgia Tech this weekend. The Hokies come in at 32-9-1 on the season. They're the only undefeated team at home left in the ACC. But I just want to go back to last weekend for a second, Phoebe. They welcomed in Boston College, saw some highs and lows. They were trailing Boston College heading to the bottom of the 5th. Then the Hokie Bats came to hit 12 runs at the bottom of the 5th to mercy Boston College. Virginia Tech, I have to assume, is going to be looking to ride that momentum.
Oh, definitely. And I think being able to come back with 12 runs so late in the game really speaks to the culture of this team and their perseverance. They really don't give up. They play straight through the end, which is going to be so important going up against this Georgia Tech team.
And it's 2 very strong offenses. Virginia Tech first in the ACC in home runs, Georgia Tech number 2. And the Yellow Jackets had a comeback of their own on Tuesday, coming back against Georgia State. They were trailing 4-0, scored 5 in the last 2 to win it 5-4. So a very hungry Georgia Tech team. And Tucker, Boston College wasn't the only game they played this weekend. They took on their in-state rival UVA in their midweek for Virginia Tech in the Commonwealth Clash. Emma Lemley with a great pitching performance as Virginia Tech was victorious 6-0.
They did. Virginia Tech, they're on a 6-game win streak, but definitely the sweetest is against their in-state rival, Virginia. But the Hokies have just been rolling. They're winning over the last 6 games by an average of 10 runs. Defensively, in the UVA game you were talking about, they didn't let a UVA runner get past second base the entire game. If they can keep up playing defensively like that, they're going to be a tough team to beat come postseason.
And Emma Lemley, just, the way she spins the ball out there is tough for any opposition to try and hit, especially, UVA. And it's going to be interesting how Georgia Tech can do, because she struggled at parts throughout the early part of the season, but has really settled into the Emma Lemley we know. And looking at the ACC tournament coming up in a couple weeks in Durham, Virginia Tech's already clinched their spot, but the seeding means everything, Phoebe, and especially in a very tight ACC.
Oh, definitely. Georgia Tech is just behind that Virginia team and that Clemson team, so they're definitely going to be hungry for that win to try and jump in the ranks and really solidify their seed. But, I mean, as we mentioned, Virginia Tech has yet to lose at home. That is a huge advantage to come into this game, knowing that you have that record of always winning at home. And also, they've won their last 6 games. That's a huge momentum to come into this matchup with. Obviously, Georgia Tech is going to be hungry, and as we saw with their last series with Pitt, they walked away with that win after coming alive in the late innings. So I think it's going to be very important for Virginia Tech to stay alive and stay vigilant throughout the entire game. We've seen it before where they come out really strong in those early innings and then kind of slack off in the later innings, but they're going to have to stay alive and stay vigilant throughout the entire matchup.
Yeah, this is a really important game in terms of seeding, as Georgia Tech is right now number 6 in the ACC standings, Tech all the way up at number 3. But Virginia Tech hasn't won the ACC championship in the tournament since 2008. This could be the first year in a long time that they have an opportunity to win.
And if you remember, the way the ACC tournament is structured, you get a bye if you're in the top 6. The other 4 have to play in a play-on game. So Georgia Tech running the bubble. They're in 6th. They're also tied for 4th, though. A big tie there in the middle of the standings. So a lot of ground Georgia Tech can make up this weekend. The 3-day Battle of the Tech Showdown begins Friday night at 6 p.m. inside of Tech Softball Park. And to tell us more about this Hokies softball squad, our very own Kendall Williams is in the studio to tell us more. Kendall?
A new Taylor Swift album dropping isn't the only exciting thing happening on this beautiful Friday in April, as Hokies softball will host Georgia Tech for their second-to-last ACC series of the regular season. It's no doubt it will be a big weekend for both squads, with a lot of tournament seeding still up for grabs. But one of the most anticipated storylines of the weekend is the return of Hokies legend Kelsey Bennett. Bennett joined the Yellow Jacket staff this season as an assistant coach after a very successful 5-year playing career here in Blacksburg. In her time as a Hokie, Bennett started every game of her career and became the all-time leader of RBIs, while also ranking 2nd in the record books with 47 home runs and 411 total bases. She also sits towards the top of Virginia Tech's all-time slugging percentage, triples, sac flies, hits, and total games played. It sure should be a fun weekend of reunions between Kelsey and her former teammates and coaches, although it will be strange to see her in the gold and blue. The Hokies haven't looked down bad in a while and are looking to keep their momentum rolling after a great showing against Boston College and UVA earlier this week. Against the Cavaliers, Emma Lemley came fresh out the slammer, pitched her 40th career complete game with 8 strikeouts and only 2 hits. Senior Cameron Fagan was also recognized for the 2nd time this season as ACC Player of the Week after her performance against the Eagles last weekend. With the end of the regular season near, actually a fortnight away, it will definitely be an exciting weekend at Tech Softball Park and for Swifties near and far. Guys?
Thank you, Kendall. And guys, well, spring sports are definitely the center of attention. There's some news being made out on the hardwood the last couple weeks. First, you're starting Liz Kitley being announced on Saturday. Her number 33 will hang in the rafters of Castle Coliseum forever. Just what were your initial thoughts on that and just the legacy Kitley has at Virginia Tech?
I mean, I think what really speaks to Liz Kitley's impact on Blacksburg is that when she was at their March Madness game, just sitting in the stands, injured, she got a standing ovation as she walked out onto the court. She has just been so impactful on this community. I mean, how many times has Castle Coliseum been sold out for a women's game this season? And that's because of Liz Kitley.
Yeah, Georgia Amor a few weeks ago in a post-game interview was joking that just a couple of short years ago, they had to practically beg people to come to games. And now almost every game is a sellout. Kitley is Tech's all-time leader in points and rebounds and minutes played. Very well-deserved jersey retirement for probably the best player in Hokie history.
And that wasn't the only good news coming for Liz Kitley this week. On Monday night, the WNBA draft in New York, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert read Elizabeth Kitley's name, the 24th overall pick, to the defending champion Las Vegas Aces. What a special moment it was for the entire Kitley family and really the Virginia Tech Hokie Nation.
Yeah, I'm sure Hokie Nation will definitely be tuning into WNBA to watch Kitley as she, enters into her professional career, and I'm wishing her a lot of success as she moves forward.
Yeah, no doubt Hokie Nation was probably hoping and thought that she should have gone higher, but what better place can she be than the reigning champions?
And Kitley's still coming off that ACL tear, most likely going to sit out for her first season. But it's going to be interesting for sure how her career plays out in the W. But for now, eager to tell us more about the special event Monday night is our very own Sarah Luttenberger with a report on the WNBA draft. Sarah?
And to think we thought the madness was over, but on Monday night, the shining stars of collegiate women's basketball took the next step into their futures. One of the most talented and decorated classes we have ever seen is going pro, as the WNBA made dreams come true just a few short days ago. And here is your recap of the WNBA draft. First up, we have what I think most people were expecting. The two-time Naismith Player of the Year, the Division I all-time leading scorer, the 22-year-old potential Olympian. She is a household name. She is Miss Caitlin Clark, and she was the first overall pick in Brooklyn on Monday night. Clark's college career may not have ended in a national title, but it did end with 3,951 career points. Not to mention, she walked off the collegiate basketball court for the last time with a three-point percentage of 37.7%, which is higher than the leading scorer of the WNBA for the 2023 season, Jewell Loyd of the Seattle Storm, who shot for 35% from behind the arc last year. The Indiana Fever may be looking at rookie accolades 2 years in a row, as Clark will be joining the reigning Rookie of the Year, Aaliyah Boston, for this upcoming season. The Fever may have finished 13-27 last year with Boston, but with the talented, young, agile duo in Boston and Clark, it is safe to say the Fever will be exciting to watch. The second overall pick was Defensive Player of the Year Cameron Brink, who will be heading south but staying in California as she exchanges her Stanford uniform for that of the LA Sparks. She will be joining the Sparks alongside the fourth overall pick Rickea Jackson from Tennessee to continue with the idea of power duos Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese, two of the most notable forwards of this past season who have been a part of the last two national championship teams, are going to be teammates. The Chicago Sky selected the 6'7" Cardoso 3rd overall and the 6'3" Reese 7th overall. Let's not forget that just a few weeks ago, the tense SEC championship matchup between South Carolina and LSU that ended in Cardoso's suspension for the first round of the NCAA tournament. Despite what seems like heat on the court, Cardoso expressed her excitement to the Sky's picking Reese as she said to the media, "I think it's going to be great. Nobody's going to get no rebounds on us." And that reminds me of what my dad used to say when I played basketball. Sarah, you can't teach height. And ain't that the truth for the Chicago Sky? Moving back out west, the Las Vegas Aces made some dreams come true on Monday. Picked 16th overall was Deasia Fair from Syracuse, who finished her college career with over 3,000 career points. But behind her came Kate Martin, a guard from the Iowa Hawkeyes. When people hear Iowa, they are likely thinking of Caitlin Clark, and so was Martin, as she attended the draft with the intention of supporting her teammate. But she ended up with just as much attention, as she was not expecting to be drafted by the Aces, right behind Deasia Fair at 18th overall. Following Martin at 24th, Hokie fans were delighted to see Elizabeth Kitley getting drafted as well, giving her a chance to continue her basketball career with the Aces after it suddenly ended with an ACL tear on March 3rd. And to wrap it up this season, we will see some rising international stars as Carla Leet and Layla Lankin will be representing France, and Niadu Puak will be representing Australia in the big leagues. And finally, we'll turn our attention to the last pick of the evening, pick number 36, Miss Angel Jackson from Jackson State. She is a 6'6" forward and the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. She is the second player in the past 3 years to be drafted from Jackson State, but she is the first player representing an HBCU school in the WNBA since 2008. And with that, we'll wrap up our recap. We'll be sad that March is over, but we'll be anxious for November when basketball season starts up again. And we get to watch these strong, talented, amazing women who have done insurmountable things for female athletes everywhere. This WNBA season is sure to be a good one. Guys?
Thank you, Sarah. And now to finish out today's show, we have a little bit of a game show type segment. I don't know about you, I'm a huge game show fan. You know, got my card and everything here today. But this is how the game's gonna work. I'm gonna give you a university in America. You'll give me 1 point. I'll give you 1 point if you can give me the city it's in, 1 point if you can give me the state, and 1 point if you can give me the mascot. It's as simple as that. It's a simple game, okay? First to 5 points wins. Phoebe, I'm gonna start with you. 13 random schools on the board. Give me a number 1 through 13.
I'm going to go with my lucky number 5.
Lucky number 5, Stetson University. Again, the city, the state, the mascot. 1 point each on the board for Stetson.
Stetson. I'm going to go with maybe Pennsylvania for the state.
Incorrect. You want to give me a shot at the mascot?
I really don't know. Maybe a bear. We'll go with
That
bear.
is incorrect. Now, it is a game show, so Tucker, you can steal.
I'm going to have a go at the mascot. I'm going to say they're the Bulldogs.
Incorrect. You want to even guess the state? You have a 1 in 49
1
chance.
in 49 chance. Give me Iowa.
Incorrect. DeLand, Florida, and they're the Hatters.
The Hatters.
There
You guys got to be thinking about this.
The more you know.
0-0 after our first school. Tucker, back to you, 1 through 13.
Give me number 3.
Number 3, Wichita State.
Wichita State. I loved watching some of their basketball teams, so I should know this, but I don't. For state, I'm going to say Montana.
Incorrect. You give me the mascot.
The Wichita State, I'm going to say the Cyclones.
Not even close. Phoebe, three possible points on the board here.
For state, I want to say Minnesota.
No, but close. And mascot.
Wichita State. Chiefs?
No, you guys, you're kicking yourself. Wichita, Kansas. That's where it's at. They're the
Kansas,
Shockers.
The Shockers, that's
So 2 schools down. We're still tied at 0-0. Phoebe, back to you.
Let's go with number 1.
Number 1, Northeastern University. I feel like that's geography for you right there in the name. Northeastern.
narrows it down a little bit.
Does it? Kentucky?
No, I'll give you a shot at the mascot, though.
Northeastern. Cyclones.
No. Tucker, chance to steal.
All right, I'm going to go Vermont.
No, but close. And then the
Okay.
mascot.
Northeastern, give me the Bears. So,
It's the Northeastern Huskies, Boston, and the Huskies.
okay,
Okay.
We'll try one more here, Tucker.
One more?
Still tied at 0.
I can't get shut out.
Let's give you a school, 1 through 13.
Number 8,
Hofstra University.
Hofstra.
Out of the CAA, Hofstra.
Hofstra. I honestly have no idea. I'm going to
I'll give you a hint. It's in the Northeast.
Okay, Northeast. I'm going to go New York.
That is correct. Can you tell me where in New York?
Albany.
No. And how about the mascot?
Mascot, Hofstra. I'm going to go with the Hofstra Bulldogs.
No. And then Phoebe, chance to steal. It's the city and the mascot on the board still.
I'm going to try maybe mascot. I want to say like Eagles.
No.
No?
And then you want to try to,
City?
I'll give you the geographical location if you can tell me in New York.
New York. I'm trying to think of all the cities in New York that I know. And I can't think of a single one, to be honest.
I would have given you Long Island and then the Hofstra Pride. So we got one more here
Okay.
Interesting.
for you, Phoebe. A chance to tie. Tucker leads 1-0. Chance to tie here. Maybe take the lead. 1 through 13. Give me a school. Final Jeopardy here.
Let's go with number 9.
Number 9, Lemoyne University.
Oh my god. That should be so much easier.
It's also in the Northeast.
Lemoyne, Michigan?
No. And then a chance for the mascot to tie it up.
Vikings.
Oh, it's so close. And Tucker is our winner today. You'll be walking home with, well, nothing. I mean, you thought you might have won a car or something. The Lemoyne Dolphins out of Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
But Tucker Terry, our winner for the first ever game show here on the First Pitch Show. And that's all the time we have here inside the Moss Arts Center. For our reporters, Kendall Williams, Sophie Tarabola, and Sarah Luttenberger, our panelists, Tucker Terry and Phoebe Winters, I've been Braden Shank saying so long from Blacksburg, and we'll see you next time.